Paris wasn't built by chance. It was organized, structured, imposed in stone. Here, every axis is a decision. Every square, a balance of power. Every facade, a statement. Paris doesn't have a single center. It has many. But this one is the oldest, the densest, the most saturated with memory. From the Louvre to the Opéra, from the Seine to the Tuileries, we move through the Paris that governed, ordered, and shaped the city. A mineral Paris, a Paris of power, symbols, and continuity. This day will be built on contrasts. The rigor of grand perspectives set against the breathing spaces of the riverbanks. The gilded opulence of the opera contrasted with the precision of a macaron workshop, where a gesture, a material, a craft are mastered. The grandeur of a capital experienced at human scale, step by step. Today, we take you into the heart of historic Paris. Welcome to the royal heart of Paris. Our day begins on Rue Cambon, in front of the Cour des Comptes. A symbolic choice. This institution is the direct heir of the offices that, as early as the Middle Ages, oversaw the finances of the crown. Just next door stands the Church of Notre-Dame de l'Assomption. This unexpected rotunda was once the chapel of a convent tucked away in the shadow of the Tuileries Palace. It's a perfect contrast, the silence beneath a sacred dome before plunging into the vastness of Place de la Concorde. We follow Rue de Rivoli, a 2-kilometer perspective of perfectly aligned arcades cut through the city by Napoleon to link the Louvre with eastern Paris. We arrive at Place de la Concorde, one of the largest squares in Europe. 8.5 hectares of stone, space, and perspectives. To the west, the Champs-Élysées rise towards the Arc de Triomphe. To the east, the Tuileries Garden leads to the Louvre. To the north, La Madeleine. To the south, the National Assembly. Paris organizes itself from this point. At the center stands the Luxor obelisk. 3,300 years of history. Offered by the Viceroy of Egypt, Muhammad Ali, it was erected here in 1836 after a journey of several years from the Temple of Luxor down the Nile, across the Mediterranean, and up the Seine. 23 meters of pink granite covered in hieroglyphs. The oldest monument in Paris, far older than the city itself. On either side, 2 monumental fountains. It's in one of these fountains that Andy, Anne Hathaway, finally throws her phone in The Devil Wears Prada. To the north, river navigation. To the south, maritime navigation. Around it, 8 statues represent the great cities of France. The square hasn't always borne this name. It was once Place Louis XV, then Place de la Révolution, where the guillotine was installed. Louis XVI was executed here. Marie-Antoinette, Danton, Robespierre, The ground beneath our feet witnessed the fall of the monarchy and those who overthrew it. After the terror, appeasement was sought. It was named Concorde, from the Latin concordia, harmony, a word meant to mend what was broken. We leave the Concorde for another square. We take Rue Saint-Honoré, an ancient axis that has, for centuries, linked the Louvre, the Tuileries, and Place Vendôme. Octagonal, perfectly symmetrical. A 17th century architectural ensemble commissioned by Louis XIV. Here, everything is order, everything is control. The facades are identical, aligned with absolute precision. Light stone, regular arcades, slate roofs, a stone setting designed to impress. At the center stands the Vendôme column. "44 meters of bronze, erected in 1810 by order of Napoleon, inspired by Trajan's column in Rome. The bronze comes from cannons taken from the enemy at the Battle of Austerlitz. A spiral of bas-reliefs recounts the military campaign of the empire all the way to the top. Up there, Napoleon as Caesar. The column was torn down during the Paris Commune in 1871. A symbol of imperial power, brought down into the street, then rebuilt. Today, Place Vendôme is a place of luxury. Jewelers, haute couture, palace hotels. And yet, despite its central position, the square remains strikingly calm. At the foot of the square, a more down-to-earth stop. Le Petit Vendôme, a neighborhood bistro, open since 1954. We order jambon beurre, a crusty baguette, soft butter, and sliced ham. Simple, effective, Parisian. We cross Rue de Rivoli. The Tuileries Garden opens up before us. At its center, the Olympic Cauldron recalls the 2024 Games, an installation that was temporarily placed within a space designed for permanence. 28 hectares of street paths and aligned trees. A formal French garden. Everything is symmetry. Created in the 16th century for Catherine de' Medici, redesigned by Le Nôtre in the 17th. The central axis runs straight towards the Louvre. The pyramid already appears in the distance. Around the basins, green chairs. Here, the pace slows. A pause within mineral Paris, a vegetal counterpoint to stone. statues punctuate the paths. In the distance, the orangerie, home to Monet's water lilies. A first threshold, a first perspective, and at the end, the pyramid. It rises in the Cour Napoleon, glass and metal, perfect geometry. A contemporary intervention at the heart of a centuries-old royal palace. Inaugurated in 1989, it divided Paris. Too modern, too bold. Today, it has become one of the city's symbols. Around us, the courtyard opens up. We look up at the palace facades. Wings stretching for hundreds of meters. A palace born as a fortress in the 12th century. Later, a royal residence, then a museum. More than 8 centuries of history contained within these walls. We enter through the pyramid. Light pours down from above, filtered through glass. The Louvre is immense. Here, you don't just walk through history, you also walk through cinema. It's in these corridors that Tom Hanks deciphered clues in the Da Vinci Code, and where the characters of Bonaparte tried to run through the museum. As for us, we will take our time, level by level, slowly moving back through the centuries. Beneath our feet, the remains of Philip Augustus' medieval fortress. Massive walls, ditches, thick stones. A defense Louvre, long before the palace, long before the museum. This is where it all began. We move up. The galleries filled with sculptures, sarcophagi and stelae. Egypt, Greece, Rome. Time shift scale. No longer measured in centuries, but in millennia. The Venus de Milo draws every gaze. Discovered in 1820 at the island of Milos, it quickly became one of the French greatest Greek treasures. Further on, the winged Victory of Samothrace, poised at the top of the Daru staircase, a figure in motion, frozen mid-stride. We move up again. Monumental idea gives way to detail. Furniture, tapestries, goldsmith work. Everyday objects, also designed to assert rank and status. Then we enter the Galerie d'Apollon. A long gilded space, conceived in the 17th century as a gallery of prestige. painted ceilings, gold, perfect symmetry. Here are displayed the crown jewels, emeralds, sapphires, diamonds. We filmed these display cases without knowing it yet. In October 2025, the gallery is robbed. 9 19th century jewels disappear. Only the crown of Empress Eugénie is recovered, damaged. What we see here no longer exists. We continue upstairs. Western painting takes center stage. The Mona Lisa is there, behind glass, watched by a dense crowd. Small in size, immense in symbolic weight. But all around, hundreds of other canvases tell the story of Europe. Religious scenes, royal portraits, battles, allegories. In the grand galleries, history painting dominates. The coronation of Napoleon by Jacques-Louis David stands as one of its high points. We suddenly emerge into an unexpected space. An immense volume, flooded with natural light. Above us, a monumental glass roof. We are in the Cour Marly. Originally, these sculptures stood in the gardens of the Château de Marly-le-Roi, a residence of Louis XIV. Rearing horses, mythological figures. The marble catches the light. Around us, visitors are drawing. Art students copy the forms, study the proportions. We leave the Louvre and head north. A few streets away, the Opéra Garnier. The facade is under renovation. The monument is there, but concealed. We go around, we step inside. From the moment we enter the hall, the tone shifts. Marble, gilding, monumental staircases. The Opéra Garnier was never meant to be discreet. It was designed to impress. We climb the grand staircase, a space conceived as a stage in its own right. The decor is so theatrical. It feels as though it was designed for cinema, before cinema even existed. Sculpted balustrades, painted ceilings, light cascading from the chandeliers. Every detail is deliberate. Second Empire style in all its excess. Opulent, unapologetic. We arrive in the grand foyer. An immense gallery, 54 meters long. Mirrors, columns, ceiling frescoes. Everything reflects, everything gleams. Designed so that the audience could be seen as much as they could see. A place of social display, as much as of anticipation. Crystal chandeliers illuminate the gilding and the polychrome marble. We enter the auditorium, red and gold. On the ceiling, Chagall fresco, an addition from the 1960s, colorful, modern, in contrast with the rest. It's now part of the building's history. At the center, the monumental chandelier, suspended above the hall. It's hard not to imagine the Phantom of the Opera wandering below, beneath this nearly 7-ton chandelier made of bronze and crystal. Nearly 2,000 spectators can be seated here. Then, we leave the opera. Just a few steps away, another Parisian temple awaits us, less theatrical, more indulgent. Galeries Lafayette. Inside, the space opens vertically. A glass and metal dome rises above us. Art Nouveau. Wrought iron by Louis Majorelle. Stained glass by Jacques Gruber. Inaugurated in 1912, this is not Royal Paris, it's commercial Paris, flamboyant. Near the dome, a quieter space. L'appartement Lafayette. A moment to immerse ourselves in the craft of macaron and slow the rhythm of the day. But also to extend the thread running through this day, Royal Paris. Because the macaron comes from there. Introduced to France in the 16th century by Catherine de Medici, served at the table of Louis XIV, presented at Versailles. An almond biscuit that has crossed the centuries. From the royal court to today's Parisian workshops. We live with the recipe, the technique, and our macaron carefully placed in their box. But the day isn't over yet. Along the way, we pass through the Galerie Vivienne, a refined interlude before plunging back into the city. The Palais-Royal is anything but a showy monument. 4 arcaded galleries surround it with elegance. Yet, it occupies a central place in the royal and revolutionary history of Paris. Created in the 17th century by Cardinal Richelieu, it quickly became a seat of power. Unlike closed royal gardens, this one is open to Parisians. People walk through it. They meet here. They plot here. It was here that Camille Desmoulins called for the storming of the Bastille in July 1789. In the palace's main courtyard, a surprise awaits. 260 black and white striped columns rise from the ground. The Buren columns, or rather, les deux plateaux. A work by Daniel Buren, installed in 1986. At this time, the scandal was immense. The artist was accused of vandalizing heritage. The project was challenged, attacked, then upheld. The work was completed. Today, the controversy has faded. The columns are part of the landscape. Children play among them. Visitors photograph them. A dialogue between two eras. The day has been dense. As evening falls, a craving for simplicity sets in. No royal table, no gilding. Just a rustic dish, slowly simmered. Bœuf bourguignon. Around the table, we talk over the day, and we already begin to prepare what comes next. Because Paris has not finished telling its story. In the next episode, we will take you into monumental Paris. See you soon for new discoveries.